I was a Virginia tobacco bride. My father was a terrible drunk and a worse debtor. To escape his missteps, he sold me to the Virginia Company of London. I would have the privilege of crossing an ocean to marry a stranger. My husband turned out to be a plain-looking man, more pious than polite. Mostly he was terribly superstitious. He saw the devil everywhere. My life in the colony was difficult. It was hard to shake the feeling that life's inevitable destiny was suffering. My very first winter, a powerful fever took me. My husband bruised his knees praying for my restored health. Matt, it was our neighbor Ursula who would be my savior. She sat on the bed with me, and I may have been delirious from high temperatures, but she appeared to me an angel, strikingly beautiful, radiant, and she had brought an elixir she brewed from local plants. "This will break that fever," she told me, holding the mug to my lips. The potion was rather putrid, but I found the strength to consume it all. Then she held me. She pushed the sweaty hair that stuck to my forehead back behind my ear and kissed my forehead. I must admit I felt a tenderness that I thought impossible in that cold, cold colony. And just as soon as she left, the fever was gone. I was in perfect health as if it were magic. My husband was mighty glad at first. But his suspicious mind began to wander. He asked over and over about that tonic she had brewed for me, if there was anything unnatural about it. It seemed my recovery was too miraculous. I bid him it must have been his prayer, but he would not believe me. I knew what he was going to do. The next day he informed the town pastor and sheriff of Ursula's witchcraft. I joined my husband and the posse who went to her farm, and yet she was gone. Her husband claims she vanished in the night. There was no evidence of her. All the more proof of her witchcraft. That evening, at home, I made sure to poorly cook the dinner I made my husband. When I sat down with him, after he prayed over the food, I asked, "Would you truly condemn the woman who saved my life?" A witch? In a heartbeat, Piers. I thought as much. He did not finish the plate before his breath was shallow. He pulled at his collar, which did nothing to help him breathe. Only for the tiniest moment just before he died did he look at me and realize what I'd done. I went out to our barn and told Ursula she could come out. She exited from a pile of hay, strands sticking all over her. "Your poison worked," I told her, picking a strand from her hair. "We're not safe yet. We'll both be wanted." It's a big new world. I laid my hand on her cheek. "Let's go get lost." "I'm not sure we should do this," I whispered. It was 2 a.m., and we were outside Widow Wharton's residence, a rundown 2-story house at the edge of town. "This was your idea," Kevin jabbed his finger at me. I told him and Brian about how Mrs. Wharton always came into my dad's shop and paid for her groceries with $100 bills, of which she always pulled out of a stack she kept in her purse. "You can stay out here and keep watch if you're too scared to go in with us," Brian ribbed me. "But if you do, we're not splitting the cash with you." He looked over at Kevin. "That sounds fair to me," Kevin agreed. "I'm not scared," I insisted. "I just changed my mind about the money." "Sure you did," Brian sneered. Kevin knelt next to the basement window on the side of the widow's house and eased it open. After looking inside for a minute, he turned back to us and said, "It's clear." He then shimmied his way through the window. Brian followed quickly behind him. "Are you coming or not?" Kevin's face appeared at the window. "Yeah," I sighed, "I'm coming." I had to if I wanted the money. I slid through the window and joined them. "Be careful," Brian warned. "There's junk everywhere down here." The basement was packed full of cardboard boxes, old furniture, and a host of other items piled haphazardly across the floor. "I think I see the stairs over there," Brian pointed at the shadows across the basement. Korache Shokol House of 4098 Main supply coming remember whenever they find the right stairs when a brawn mushers when they manically acquire about and they comes to the money. As we made our way in that direction, a can clattered across the floor behind us. "What was that?" Kevin asked. His voice had a slight tremor to it. None of us dared breathe as we waited to see if we'd hear the sound again. We didn't. One of us probably brushed up against something, I offered as a possible explanation. You're probably right, Brian agreed. Come on, let's go. The sooner we get that money, the sooner we can get the hell out of... The rest of what he was going to say was abruptly cut off as a large figure detached itself from the surrounding junk, grabbed hold of his head, and snapped his neck. Before Kevin could react, another figure appeared and grabbed hold of him. He struggled to free himself, but the figure was too strong. There was a loud crack, and then Kevin's struggles ceased. The lights in the basement suddenly came on. Standing before me were two deformed men dressed in rags, each holding the body of the boy they had killed. "You're late," a woman snapped. It was the widow Wharton. "You were supposed to deliver them hours ago." She flung her hand at the bodies of Kevin and Brian. "Sorry," I apologized. She walked over and handed me a stack of cash. "Tell your father I'd like to double my order next month. I have family coming into town." The eyes I couldn't see through. I always felt detached from this world, like a stranger passing through. My days were mechanical. Wake up, dress, head to work at the supermarket as a cashier, and observe the emotionless faces of customers. I had one talent, staring into people's eyes and seeing the stories they tried to hide, until one day I couldn't. She stood there, her eyes staring at me, but I couldn't read them. For the first time in my life, someone's gaze was impenetrable. I froze until she whispered, "Excuse me," breaking my trance. She left, but something inside me remained with her. The next day she returned, and this time she smiled. That smile injected something warm into my cold blood. After she left, I found her phone on the floor. When I checked it, her face was on the wallpaper. I couldn't unlock it, so I kept it safe. Later that night, she called from another number. Her voice trembled with concern. I told her she could meet me before my shift. I didn't know why I felt excited, like a kid waiting for a secret. Now, she arrived, thanked me, then suddenly asked, "Do we know each other?" "No, maybe you saw me at work," I replied awkwardly. She tilted her head, smiling. "No, I know you. From before. Deeply. Now..." Before I could question her, she asked for my number. Blushing, I gave it to her. We started talking every day. Her presence felt like sunlight leaking into my gray world. We shared long conversations, laughter, and eventually something deeper. I began to feel alive again. One evening, lying on the grass by a quiet pond, she confessed. Her husband, Yassin Mansour, was in a coma after a tragic accident. Doctors said he'd never wake up. She considered him gone. Tears welled in her eyes for the first time. Later, she told me she had something important to discuss at the end of the week, but when the day came, she never showed up. Hours passed. Her phone was off. Panic set in. I went to her apartment, knocked, asked neighbors. No one had heard of her. Even the shopkeeper downstairs, who had seen us many times, denied ever seeing us together. I was unraveling. Was I dreaming all along? Wandering the streets in despair, I heard someone call behind me. I turned, hoping it was her. It wasn't. A woman handed me my wallet, which I had dropped. I took it, muttered thanks. And then I saw it. My ID card. My name, Yassin Mansour,